totally not me getting sidetracked after I hit go live. Of course not. That never happens. Hey, everything's working tonight. That's actually amazing. Let's turn down the music a little bit. And, yeah. That's the first time in damn near a month everything's worked correctly the first time. And I super enjoy that. Anyway, welcome in. Stream 26, Crashlander Scrapyard. Mountains of Thrusters. I have Mountains of Thrusters. That is a thing. So, getting caught up. Oh, yes, cat. Oh, you want scritches? Okay. We will do the scritches of the cat while I go through the You know, I've been off work this week, but I've been working on so many projects that it just is fried. So, you know, have fun with the goofy talking. Nothing's really changed with the plan stuff. Cleaning up the big bulk garbage on the Abaddon skeleton was mostly done. As far as other stuff goes, we're kind of hard to tell because of the sun, but we're at 100% power. Ignore the 7 hours. That's inaccurate. We are doing the things. That's the important stuff. And I did add one more thought to the big ship LCD here, and that is I think I want to do like heavy armor panels that are held off the like spacers instead of just doing a full hull out of heavy armor. And I know that probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but it also does. Hopefully when I build it out, it'll make sense. As far as Mountain of Thrusters, there's a lot of thrusters. There's a lot of hydrogen thrusters. There's even more ions. There's big thrusters. There's some big thrusters. There's tanks. There's a whole bunch of more thrusters that I haven't pulled off their skeleton parts. It's kind of like ripping the leg off a turkey. Like just a big smoked turkey leg. This is like the back from one side, and this is the back from the other side. And there wasn't really a way to break that apart without taking it fully apart. But then I didn't want it to sit there and fiddle with keeping track of it. And what's left isn't a whole lot. Like, there's so many more thrusters. There's so many more thrusters on this grid than I realized there were. The jump drive has been affixed to the station on the off chance something goofy happens. But it's set there. There are so many more thrusters, though. So many more thrusters. So the remains of the Abaddon are pretty much limited to here. And that's a lot of gyros, too. So I'm kind of happy with it. It needs some more cleanup, but I want to work on laying out the ship tonight some and working on that because it's going to take a little bit to get to where I want to go with it. Yeah. I still want to go with this general body shape, like as a cross section, but I think I want to go a little bit bigger. Just a tiny bit bigger. And then, you know, like do big heavy armor panels. Because the thing I talked about previously was I didn't want to make it super narrow, kind of like the Phoenix, right? Very long, very good for broadsiding that way, because you got a lot of side space you can fit guns on, which would be good. But it also means that if somebody shoots at us and they punch through that outer layer of armor, because Space Engineers doesn't have any kind of simulation for like armor hardness or anything like that, so everything is just HP sponges, and if you get enough small things hitting the same spot, it will tear apart stuff that it shouldn't. Yes. Oh, the cat is being extra needy. That's okay. There you go. Have some treats. He comes back over again, he's getting put on camera. Even though he's not a big fan of that. But anyway, the whole point is that it makes it very easy to punch holes into things, and then you've got, you know, air-evacuated bulkheads and everything else in the process. And I kind of want to avoid that, but at the same time, if I did something like a disc, or like a traditional saucer, that avoids that because it puts extra gaps between the critical internals and the outer edge, the volume goes up massively, and I also want to avoid that. So I think the plan would be to do... Actually, I don't have any steel on me. Let me get some steel, and I'll, like, fake it up. So, like, this, and then you have a panel that comes out. Okay, well, there's a gun in the way. So let's try this again. And then there would just be a panel. And I could do something like, I could do some shaping of the panel as well. And make it look a little bit nicer. And give it some shape in the process. You know, give it a little bit of a shape. I hit T by accident, turned on auto rotate. Single worst control in the entire game. If you don't agree with me, that's fine, you're wrong. But auto-rotate, single worst thing. Like, auto-rotate should be like a mirror effect. We have to set the rotation point. So you could do something like that, right? And then, like, take it up an extra block. And that would provide a lot of cover. We could put, you know, connectors, you know, coming out to the outer sides and make that the point so that when things shoot it, yes, there's still heavy armor there, but worst case scenario, maybe I rig something up with merged blocks so it's detachable, so I could, you know, break the whole wing off. There's some options, and it's something to turn over and think about. I did go through, because I had, you know, that 1.3 platinum ingots or whatever from that ship that was captured that one time. Did go through and make myself some nice elite tools, grinder and welder. And by I went through and did that, I mean like 10 minutes before I started the stream, I realized I could do that. Because it's not like platinum's needed for anything else. So that's how that went. Was there anything else? I don't think there was anything else. Nope. Didn't have anything else. So we're going to build some stuff out. And... Ooh, let's see. We are going to pick... Do I want to stay with gray? Man, I need to go through and repaint anyway, right? So... we'll just keep it with gray for the time being. Let's see if I can get some of these in here without... There we go. That's attached. Or it will be once I click the button for it. There we go. So that's what we'll build off of, because this is neat and all, but again, I want something slightly larger. So we'll just come out a couple blocks. And I think, again, actually we'll come out a couple more blocks than that. I do want to make this a little bit larger. So if we go off that existing shape, we just take it out one block wider each side. Start with that. And maybe one block taller as well. And then repeat the same process back. And maybe eventually the sun will be at an angle that's not absolute garbage for this. That'd be cool. Let's see, so if we continue the shaping, up like that, up to there. So I just took it one extra block out, but the shape is still the same. So I should be able to just keep doing the same thing, at which point we just go back to this. Yeah, that works. Alright, so if we go one extra block out this way, that means we go to here before I start the descent down. Here, and we just repeat the same shape. Going back this way, and then it's just straight blocks. Do I need to change this now? So let's make sure. Yeah, I did all that right. Okay. Let's take apart the old grid. I'm excited for the new DLC release coming out. Well, the new update for Space Engineers coming out on Monday. That'll be neat. I always like new additions and new changes of things because it's just good. It just okay. Hang on, let me fix that. That's broken. There we go. I'm excited about it. It's gonna be fun stuff, and I hate that shape now. So I still want to have. I didn't double up the block distance. That's the problem. Should have done it this way. Hurricane, you were being so loud. Could you not? Like, I know it's not coming across the microphones, but sir, could you just not? I can hear it. We go here, and then that. So we're no longer just increasing the height in one direction, we're now increasing it in both, so it's equal. That's better, and then I can spread this out an extra bit. I think we're gonna thin it out a hair. So it'd be looking something like that. Right? Yeah. Be something like that, and that would still work. I don't like that I messed it up. How did I mess that up? Wait, what? Okay, so what did I do? Oh, I didn't make it equal. Okay, that's my bad. Let's try this again. Did I not? I probably didn't add the extra block onto this side when I rebuilt it. That's probably what it was. I apologize if anybody else caught that before me. So there's that. Let me go back to here, which looks like that then. And then that still works. And then this gets placed there. And there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay. Does that look closer? It does. Do I want to get rid of this bottom block? Because, like, theoretically, I'll just put other things there. From an external shape... man, I don't know if I like that, though. No, as a matter of fact, I know I don't like it. So... let's try something different. This 2, 3, 4, and then down. Right, that's... I think I like that better. Oh, crap. I'm just sitting here going, ah, it's not that big a deal. And I just keep going, and I never refill my suit. And now we're at the point where I'm already regretting making the changes to the ship size. Because then there's going to be additional stuff stuck on the outside from there. So, we are going to revert all this. By revert, I mean just cut it all off. Apparently. Hey, welcome in. 1, 2. So I think the lesson here is that I need to be a little bit more intentional with working inside the original blueprint limitations. It is almost Friday. I mean, I've been on PTO this week. It's like every day's been a Friday for me, but I've been so tied up in projects and stuff. Like, I've actually managed to get stuff I wanted to get done this time, which is... Like, I don't normally take, like, relaxing vacations, which is, a problem on its own. But normally they're not as productive. And this one actually has been productive. And that's been kind of nice. Road here. Like, I mean, I definitely feel it in my back and in my legs, because that's just the way things have been. But that is what that is. Alright, so from here... So we're back to this shape again. Again, I don't hate this. It's just I wish it was a little bit bigger. But I think with the sloped roof, that gives us a little bit more workable thing. Yeah, we're just gonna stick with this. So, with the jump drive, we need at least a 3-block chunk, right, for that. So, like, because it's a 2-block tall, but it's a 3x3 base. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And this does fit in the center. The issue is going to be the hydrogen tanks, because these aren't airtight all the way around. We have a newish neighbor. I think I talked about it last week. They have an incredibly ill-behaved dog, and it's a combination of the dog is way too big for the size of their yard, and the dog just not being properly trained, because it tries to pick fights through the fence with literally everybody bordering them, like snarling and like gnashing at the fence kind of crap. And they let them out at 8:15 every night and just leave him out for a couple hours, and he's so fucking loud. To the point where through the windows and everything else, and with the filters, it still comes through the mic sometimes. So, like, I'm just going to move things around a little bit and make the filter a little bit more aggressive. So I'm going to be a tad louder. And I do apologize for that. But for quality, we're going to go with that and see how it goes. Yeah, no, it's absolutely terrible. I live surrounded by people who are absolute assholes to their dogs. Like, I'm not a dog guy, but, like, take care of your animals, right? Don't buy a postage stamp lawn if you've got a large dog that needs to move around. It's not, especially a working breed. So anyway, I kind of want to bury this, but the problem is you can't airtight the exterior with these tanks. And that means if I were to, like, stick it, like, take these in half, bury them in the outer shell, so, like, they were here and they stuck a little bit, it'd be nice from a shape perspective, but you could never airtight the thing. That's why I went through and did the big windows, but I don't want to do that with this, because then that becomes a horrible shape to try to match around, because of the way the Space Engineers 1 does block space film. So SE2 it would be an issue, but an SE1 is a problem. So I don't want to work around it. I've tried to do it too many times, and I don't like it. Do I make it have vertical symmetry though, as opposed to left right? Like, do I take this floor down an extra block? Maybe that's the way to go. Make it a true oval. Nope. Crap. That's fine. We can fix this. I got merge blocks. And we'll put some merge blocks on and we'll re-anchor this back to the anchor point. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, the pollen for us this week has been a little bit better. It's not been great, but it's been a little bit better than it was. And so I hope it's been better for everybody else. But, yeah. Okay, that's been done. That's all. Oh, crap. I split this twice. Okay, we'll put this there. We'll cut these off. Yeah. And we will flip them. Of course I did that. We'll do that, and then we'll do that. Where did the other construction components go? Did they fall out and float off? Did I grind them up accidentally? No, because they should become scrap if so. I'm so confused with what happened here, because I don't see them floating down below. Also, oh, there they are. They floated up. Tricksy components. I went through and deleted, I ran cleanup, and it pulled like 500 grids that had just crashed onto the moon and broken up. And I found that hilarious. Alright, so there's that. That's all one piece now. So if I... Oh, crap. Empty my inventory so I'm not overloaded with steel plates for no reason. There we go. That's a lot better. Alright, so... That's not remotely the right direction. Let's try that again. That's better. Okay, and then I can come over here. I can cut this off. I can spin this around. There we go. So that's what that would look like. I kind of like that a little bit better. Yeah, I like that better. I like that better. And that's what I'm going to go with. And then I can add stuff sticking out the bottom for some sort of, you know, visual appeal. But I like that shape better. And then we've got the option to do things like, you know, put a conveyor junction in here. The interior plates. Let's put, you know, conveyor junctions in on the... And actually, we could do conveyor junctions on all four sides this way. If we went with that. Yeah. Run this back off. Alright, so that gives a lot of options now. So we're going to recharge our stuff. And we're going to need like at least 3 blocks in length for for cargo storage. At least 3 blocks in length for the jump drive. We'll say like 4 or 5 bulkhead walls. So there's what, 11 blocks plus at least 3 more for hydrogen. Another 4 maybe for like miscellaneous living quarter related stuff, and then whatever passes for the cockpit. So we're looking at what, 18 blocks in length minimum, plus external decorations, plus the hangar bay. Like 22, 23. How long is the Phoenix? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18, 22. So we're still shorter than the Phoenix at that point, which is good, but also not. Well, no, it's still good, because we're still going to end up stretching to fit in things like thrusters. Because right now, the Phoenix is set up with, is it 3 hydrogen tanks? 2 hydrogen tanks, 2 large cargos. We're not going to put multiple large cargos on this thing because it's not going to be needed for it. But, okay. I just want to get thrusters in. So we'll be about the same length overall. That's how that's going in my head. So we'll just leave these front 4 blocks alone and only build back from there. So we'll assume this is like, because I want to put like, I don't want to do the cockpit or what passes from the helm in the very front. But I don't want to put it on the center because fixed guns with MES aim for center of mass. But the back is boring. So maybe it'll be middle-ish just ahead of the hangar bay. We'll do like a middle hangar bay and then engineering behind it. Yeah, I like that. So then I can put a tank up front. And now that we're a little bit larger and an oval, we can slide one of those tanks in the middle and anchor it. I like that. Okay, let's... so if we do this and cut this off, and then cut this out, I can go ahead and grab a tank and drag it in place. They're all on the other side, so we'll start with those. I want to leave these tanks here, which also implies I kind of want to leave those, but maybe not. Maybe I leave tanks in the industrial section and where they're clearly built in here and just take them. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll take them off this part. These are not full, but that's fine. They're partially full. So we'll detach. Leave that one attached for now. Convert to ship. We're going to grab Palmetto here in a second. we're just going to go ahead and weld a couple of these in place and use those as our baseline. And I'm going to kind of start piecing this together as I go, I think. Need 2 weld pads. Plop that first one down. Actually, can I move this by hand? Yes, but I'm not going to, because that's going to be incredibly painful, and I can just use this instead. Let's see. There we go. Alright, so if I come over here, this is way too zoomed out. Let's see. That's the back end. Alright, we should be locked. Yes, we're locked. Okay. And we're just going to spin this around, and we'll bring it back this way. Okay. There's that. You know, we're not going to do that just yet. Let's see if I can get a little bit better line up here. That's not... Man, I'm super drifty. Not enough gyros. Okay, we'll do this. I think, yeah, here we go. I can get some visibility this way. I just have to be careful when I come down I don't go too fast. The sun is working against me yet again. It's always working against me. There we go, successfully emerged. I'm just going to park that there. So that's hooked up this way, and we're going to use this and let's rename the grid temporarily. So if we start from there and then build back, right? So we get some more. That's do that. That. Go here. Let's just turn that down a tiny bit because that music got way louder. 1, 2. Put the conveyor back in place. Oh god. There we go. Gonna grab a whole bunch of plates because this is now like our standard shape, and we can take this in, we can go out with it, we can make adjustments as needed, but the intent is that this is going to be like our standard baseline for the rest of the hull. And of course, concealing and hiding turrets, or not turrets, the thrusters inside this is going to be, I think, probably the bigger challenge. Because I don't want them, like, massively visible, just from, like, a defensibility perspective. But this is also not a ship large enough we can do goofy stuff and, like, bury them internally to the ship entirely, and kind of cheat the way Space Engineers handles thrust as a result. So there's that. That gives space for walkable corridors. It gives space for cargo network transport to the outer edges. Yeah, I'm liking that. And then maybe do like, we'll do like 2 blocks, and then this will be the bulkhead point. And then that way I can do like 3 blocks total for whatever passes for the bridge. I should be able to then take that and, you know, work with that a little bit. Doorways, airlocks, entries, and we come back an extra step, and then there's the hangar base. Do I want to use gates? Do I want to use actual hangar doors? Alright, let's clear a bunch of stuff off my hotbar. Just gonna do a big hotbar reset. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be like, oh, but I know I got this on my hotbar somewhere. I can find it. And then I'm just gonna flop back and forth like an idiot looking for things. So we'll put the hangar doors there. We'll do the gates, because these are our options for opening doorways, and we can stack these, right? Like we could get extra space, right, by just going through and doing that, right? And then that gives us a much larger space to move a shuttle in and out of. But also, we're still limited, right? And if we did something like the actual hangars, right, you get a lot more distance. That goes out to here. And coverage. So 2 sets of these back to back. Let's do this in a way that makes more sense from a layout perspective. Because it would actually be like this, because each of these doors has, like the airtight hangar doors, they've all got a base block they anchor to. And then we'll just do that. So we're looking at, that would be the first block. So yeah, we're just gonna, it'll be, oops. Still some more steel plates. Why the place? Those have mounting points on the sides. Whatever. Let's do that and not carry them. Oh, interesting. Oh, because this is misplaced. That's why. That's the actual issue. That's fine. We'll fake it that way. So I can get a much larger hangar door, which would allow for some more fun shaping. Because none of the gates are really bigger than that. There's some smaller ones, but that's the biggest gate block. So I could do a double wide hangar gate there, blend it in. And in fact, I could do those, right? Because I wanted to do the hangars, I think, on the sides. Now, maybe I don't want to do them on the sides, because we're looking at effectively 2 blocks worth of space there. If I recess them back, even, no, I'd have to take it out. I'd have to balloon it a little bit around the hangar, which would not be a bad thing. That's doable, because the alternative is doing, I'd have to balloon it either way. Okay, so let's assume that still works the same way. Just chop this off for a little bit of visibility. That's such a huge door. right? With a double layer of airtight hangar doors, that's 10 meters of space between the two doors. Versus, no, I guess it's still about the same. It's not quite 10 meters, because you're losing a little bit on the edges. But like 8 meters versus 10, I don't know that matters, because it's going to be tight either way. But it lets me play with more width. So like, the Palmetto would fit through a gate. Something like the shuttle I built at the end of Ares at War would not. And I think I kind of want to go with the hangar gates, because that would let me do shorter but wider for a shuttle. Because the alternative would be I'd have to have something that could fold up. Let's take a look at stats. So airtight hangar doors, they're all the same for all the variants. I'm just going to be looking at the stats up there. We're looking at 7.8 tons per door block. And we'd be looking at a minimum of 6. Yeah, let's assume that we go for something similar for height. Yes, suit energy is low, I'm aware. So, opening-wise, we could get away with 6 of those hangar doors. Get away with 6 hangar doors versus 2 gates. And we wouldn't need the additional edge blocks that we would with those. Which is interesting. Actually, let's change how this is laid out. Let's go slightly different. We'll just... because we could also do, like, there's the warfare ones, which look different than the normal ones. The normal ones have, like, the grooves and stuff. The warfare ones are just flat plates. But there's also ones with windows. They've all got the same components. They've all got the same stats. So that becomes a matter of, like, preference for appearance at that point. Yeah. So let's just do... if we do this, now we've got roughly the same opening space we're competing within. Now I'll just spin this around. So that's what our hull looks like. So we're looking at 7.8 tons per block as 6 blocks. We're looking at 40... almost 48 tons for the hangar doors, right? 8 and 6, yeah. They've also got 37,000 hit points per door, and there's 6 doors. Alternatively, the gates are 17.5 tons apiece, so that'd be, what, 35 and some change tons? So we're winning out by more than 10 tons in mass savings, but the integrity is 85,000 hit points, and we're replacing 3 hangar doors, effectively, per gate. So we're winning out in mass, but we're losing in defensibility. Now with these I could put blocks in front of part of their space. Like do a heavy armor edge, or even, ooh, hang on. We could do a little bit of heavy armor shaping. Right, and so, no, that's the wrong direction. I could do something like that, which gives us a bit of like an opening shape to it instead. Whereas with the hangers, or the hanger blocks, I would want to bury those in immediately adjacent. So that would get us some extra. That would get us some extra armor. Because I went through and did this, we're looking at 2.5 tons per heavy armor slope, but for 12,000 more hit points. So we're effectively gaining 48,000 hit points on top of the 85,000 here, which does bring us above the total integrity for the same block space that would be used for the hangar doors effectively. But if stuff was still hitting, so this is the other thing, right, is these gates, because they're one block, this 3x2 space is all one block for targeting purposes, whereas the gates are individually. But if something blows a hole in one of these gate pieces, or one of these hanger pieces, it's going to be just as destructive as the gate, so I guess maybe I shouldn't consider that. The other thing I could do would be to turn the gates sideways. So rather than be considering it like this instead, which I guess kind of more matches. I don't know, I don't like losing this extra bit, right? Because if I go, yeah, like the block spacing is here versus the collision of the collision face of the gates. And that does lose a space. Gates are kind of cool, though. But at the end of the day, we've effectively got about... It's about 8 meters, but it should be considered 7.5 for width. So I think the answer is... go with the hangar doors. Yeah, we're going to go with the hangar doors. Okay, so let's chop this hole apart. And then I need to figure out where I want to put these. Because if I put them on top... like, I can put them on top and bottom even. Because I feel like that would ultimately be a little bit better. But... on the sides would be more cool, because then things just stream out the side. We're going to be bubbling a little bit around the hangar anyway from a shape perspective. So at the very least, we'd be looking at... do I want to inset them? I think I kind of want to inset them one depth. And the question becomes, do I want to do the doors? Because if I do that, that gets us vertical slit windows, which is kind of cool, actually. That's kind of cool. So we're going to add 2 blocks, another 2 blocks, and then the base. We come back, we go down. Alright, that's what I'd done over there. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's weld these in. One of the other things I did as well when I was taking apart the Abaddon is I turned off disassembly in Izzy's. I disabled it because I didn't see the point, because I had enough inventory stored. I didn't see the point in spending the energy and time to rip apart a bunch of components that I would then by necessity have to put back together again to build this ship. So we're running a little high on storage right now, simply because I didn't want to have to do that. So as parts are getting used, Izzy's isn't replacing them until they drop below a certain point. I will say I am missing build and repair right now, though. Oh. Not having to fly back and forth and just being able to let build and repair take care of it. I do miss that. The version of that mod that's being actively maintained did have an update fairly recently that improved performance considerably. So, maybe we'll see it return again. At the very least, if it wouldn't mess things up, I would add AI enabled, just to have little repair bots go around and weld all this stuff up for me instead. But alas, not worth going through and fiddling with, because right now there's so many like subgrids just floating around attached with things. The AI-enabled pathfinding algorithms would just constantly be having a bad day trying to figure out where they can path and walk everything to. Yeah, I like that. And then we've got room. I could put... Maybe we don't do roof connectors? Ooh, actually, no, we could. We could do like a... You do an insect connector. Right, because these have 16,000 hit points, which is about the same as a heavy armor block, right? Heavy armor block is 16.5, and the insect is 16.7. So technically, it's 220 more hit points than heavy armor. Connector armor meta inbound. Alright, but that would let me... I could still anchor things that way. Yeah, okay. Actually, it would probably be in the floor, so I could just lock to it from below. That would probably be the way to do it. Then got a little bit of room up front for like maybe small cargo container storage. It's like, oh, this is going to be explosive as shit in the first place, right? So maybe we'll put some gyros up there. And then back behind here, maybe we come back and... Maybe this is where the large cargo container goes. Yeah, I like that thought. So if I did that, we still have room to walk around, because that's the important part. Being able to put doorways and stuff in between. Alright, so I have a cargo container over here, along with another tank. And I was dumb and attached a bunch of stuff to it. Okay. It's actually not that bad. We'll run detach on that. That'll pull all that stuff off. We will take this big-ass thruster, and we'll just crash it into our vents. In fact, we're gonna grab a whole bunch more of these weld pads. Because I don't want this stuff just floating off. Ooh. I think I got the angle correct there now. Did I overspin it? Oh no, I actually didn't. Look at that. There we go. Alright, there's that. The tank pieces down here. Is this tank full? It's empty, so that makes that easier. We'll just drop that there. Drop that there. Oh, but this oxygen tank's full, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, that's a small hydrogen tank. I may not be able to move that. Oh, I can't. Okay. Clumsily. You know what? We're just gonna pull this over a little bit. Take this weld pad off. We'll put a placeholder light armor block there. Put the weld pad there, and then I'm not sitting there trying to squeeze it in nice and tight. I'll just do this. There we go. And then the last pieces are gonna be production and stuff. We're gonna cut the laser antenna off. We're gonna cut this antenna off, and we're just going to stick them on other landing grids instead. I got some open ones. That'll make that easier. In fact, I think I can stick. Yeah, I can stick it down here. Nope, overshot. Moving parts around. There's that, and then grab this and just where am I sticking it? I can not stick it there. That one's not in use, but I think it's going to be kind of tight to fit that in. I can stick it over there. There we go. We will grab here, I think. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Let's try this again. There we go. Give a little bit too much momentum. I did not respect the mass of the antenna. Come on. A little bit closer. There we go. And then this stuff. What are these? These we got speed modules. Is it all three of them? Yeah. And then the assembler. So this does need to get used. Can I move it? Kind of. We're just going to set it off here to the side for the moment. Because it's going to get slotted in next, I think. Because this needs to get stuck in, and also the refineries. Or the refinery. I forgot about that. How big a pain is this to move now that it's here? Nothing in it, okay. So let's detach. There we go. And I think we'll just try and move this by hand into place, rather than use the palmetto for this part. Now I'm having second thoughts. So, let's think this through. This is going to be the... Maybe this isn't the helm space. Maybe this is just like living quarter space. And the helm is still further back. Or maybe the helm is part of the bubble around the hangar and it sits directly on top of the hangar. That's an option. I like that thought. Yeah, I like that. Let's do a, do a placeholder, so I don't forget that. I'm just going to put this here, and that'll be the little placeholder reminder for that. So the new plan is there's the hangar, and then this sits on top, and this is like living quarters, med bay, stuff like that. I do still need to fit an oxygen tank in, but I could slide that in alongside the hydrogens, or above the living space, or like there's a bunch of options. Okay, I like this. That's a much better placement. We've already got a weld pad there, so we'll just come up top. We'll throw this down, and we'll just maneuver this into place. Okay. Up. Dripping into my face. We gotta spin it. Not that way. That way. There we go. Alright, so we're aligned. I just gotta, there we go, bring us in place. So there's that. But I think I still, despite this being a ship designed to defend itself, I still want to go with the borderline industrial feel. Which is another reason I wanted to do, like, heavy armor panels attached to the exterior of the hull. Which I don't think I mentioned previously. That was one of the reasons. But that is one of the reasons. I'm going to place some blocks here to fill in for right now, just so I can keep shaping in mind. So we have that. We'll do a 1-block space, and then we'll do industrial stuff. So here's where the refinery and that assembler comes into play. Technically, the refinery needs to be put on its side so all the upgrade modules are also on its side, so we can get the 3-block wide thing. Because this is a power. See what we have. We don't need the basic refinery. But 3 yield modules and a power efficiency, that's not terrible. It's not as great as what's here on the station, but it's good enough. So this can come off, and we can just dock this over here on one of these pads. Nope. Too far. Nope, too much. I'm going to send something flying through one of these giant windows on the Phoenix. It's going to happen. I'm not going to intend to. It's just going to happen. So we're going to redo this. And then, because that's going to be symmetrical, that way it doesn't really matter which way it's oriented, as long as it faces the right way in. Cool. And so I think that means that I want this to be like this. So I think that looks cooler from like considering what's up versus down on this block than this would be. Alright, I'm not doing that again because that's making me dizzy as it is. Yeah, and then the backside looks like that. Okay, I like that. So this is going to come in towards the top. How do I want to see? I can do pipes. We do a conveyor pipe junction. Let's do that. Then we can do cool things with pipes. Put the weld pad here. Let's go grab the palmetto. Actually, first I need to disable auto lock, switch off. And then this is going to be the middle, that would be the top. So let's come in this way. Yeah. Nope, wrong direction. Up a little bit. Back. Just look down. Overshot. Am I hooked on? I am not. Now I am. Okay. And then go this way, we go this way, we go back. Come to a stop, we try to rotate. Oh, overshot. Come down, go forwards, come down, go forwards. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to detach and re-grab this, because I think it's going to try to slam me into, yeah. We'll just do that, come up, come back, spin around. We'll line it up. All right. That works. And I've got space to move around below here put other stuff in around, putting stuff in place. I've got access to the refinery directly. I like that. So that's a neat way to access inventory still. But how do I want to do the assembler? So I still need to run it that way. I could. Now I'm gonna flip this 180. So this will be top. Yeah, that'll be top. Do I need? I think I want to spin this though. Yeah, because they're. I know I can't. Oh, these are rotationally mirrored. Oh, I hate that. I don't like that at all. Okay. So we can't have left-right symmetry no matter what. Because the pipes are going to be spun. Okay. Yeah, I guess there's just nothing to do for it other than this then. That is mildly saddening. But it is what it is. I'm just going to go direct. Alright, let's see. I need to grab this. Rotate around this way. Come up. Doing this backwards again, but it is what it is. Go this way. How are we doing? Let's reset our camera view. Let's try and line this up so it's kind of straight on. Alright, we're locked. We'll go down. We'll pre-spin. Get it out of the way. Take back. Go over. Drop it down. Overshot, but that's okay. So if I come here, get kind of close. Break that. That's the wrong button. Spin around and face behind me again. Go like this? Yeah, let's go like this. Cool. I did hear it slam that lock in. But barely. We'll just... I have to put the weld pad on. I forgot the weld pad. And we're just going to put these face to face directly. Yeah, we'll just do that. Because there's still ports. So it still works. There we go. And we are all linked through properly. Okay. So... the question becomes, where do I want to run the connecting lines? I could run the connecting lines on the roof here, from here back, because this is going to have an additional roof hump over it. So I think I'll do that. So I don't need to worry about building an extra space there. This comes back. We will have another block for spacing, and then another bulkhead. So all the industrial stuff is in one bulkheaded section. We got that cool pipe. They're starting to get a tad long, though. So maybe... Actually, do I want these doors to come out an extra step? I think I do. I think I do. Let's move these. No, you know, we're going to mark that I want them moved. We'll do that. That way I know to move them back out an extra step. Oh, forget this later. That's fine. It's perfectly fine. You know, what's funny is if I do this with these doors, I wouldn't necessarily have panels there. So that might be the only actual, like, main grid heavy armor blocks would be around those doors. I like that. That's interesting. So we stretch it back. I want to do another... Oh, but okay, so hang on. So we have thrusters, right? How many large thrusters do we have? We've got 4 I'm pulling off. 4 that I'm pulling off the scrap station. We've got a 5th one here. We've got a 6th one down here for large hydrogens. A 7th. So you've got 7 large hydrogen thrusters to work with without stealing anything off the Phoenix. So that's 2 in one direction and 1 in the other 5 directions. Yeah, it's YouTube being YouTube. You may have to take it off auto on the quality and hard set it to 1 because they're still doing dumb things. Yeah, they do a lot of like A/B testing with things. Like they've had this experiment going for a bit now for various users where if the browser that's displaying the video isn't the focused window, it will, even on auto, even if you've got the bandwidth, it will downscale because it assumes you're not actively watching, even if you are. So like if you've deselected the window, so like you don't accidentally change things with the video you're watching or the stream you're watching by like hitting your keyboard and it triggering your shortcut, it doesn't matter. They've had stuff where like they're changing the layout sizes for how many videos show on the home page and a whole bunch of other dumb stuff. So sometimes you just have to hard lock it to a specific, resolution you want to play back in. Okay, so because these are they all the same type? That's a good question I didn't consider. Those are normal hydrogens. That's normal. Okay, so it doesn't look like any of these are industrials, so they're all going to be the same size, which means I kind of want to bury these a little bit. Can I do that without messing up my shaping? So that would require me like sink them right up to here, and I don't like that. Huh. Something I hadn't considered. Because the damage cone is going to be longer than the standoffs for the shells. Huh. So maybe I stick all the thruster stuff at the back end. All the hydrogens. Ooh, actually the alternative would be... Hang on. Make sure this hasn't been changed any. So thrusters. Looking at 1.1 meganewton, 1.08 meganewtons for a normal. Versus 7.2 for a large. So 7 smalls equals 1 large. And we have a lot of smalls. So we got what? We got 6 there. Another 5. Another 2 brings us to 3 actually brings us to 14. Another 5, 19. Where did I put those other ones? There's a whole bunch more here. 24, 27. Am I missing any on that? No. 32. 33. Plus this giant pile. It's 48. $60? I think we got 60. Somewhere around there. 60-ish small thrusters. Which at 7 apiece, I mean, that's still more than a large thruster in each direction. In fact, we could almost mock up 2. So I could still, because these have a much shorter damage cone. So we could bury those a block back. We only have to worry about 2 blocks. So if we sink these into the hull, right? So like rather than sticking out here, they would be back in this spot. I would have to recess the lines that feed them to do it, but that would be doable. Yeah. I could even do like a double line. And as long as, like if this was the existing face of the armor, as long as whatever was being used, you know, to function as the standoff to the heavy armor came out here, because the dome at the end doesn't take damage. Yeah, we're taking no damage. Okay. That's doable. That's doable. And of course, would be using heavy armor, wouldn't be using a beam block. But that's beside the point. Okay. So that solves that issue. So really, we could do something absolutely obnoxiously goofy on the back end here. We could sitting here with a goofy grin on my face, not talking out loud, running out of steel plates, because I'm like, I'll just draw it, and it'll be very obvious now. I ran out of steel plates. So I could do a tank, another tank here on the back, right? And then I could just throw thrusters in. And do just a bank of 4 thrusters. Actually, I could take that in one step still. Right? No, I couldn't. Well, I could, but not really. Or could I? Can I? Maybe. Am I just bad at space today? Am I bad at spatial awareness? No. I am not bad at spatial awareness. I was correct in my spatial awareness. Ish. So I think I still want to... gap them. Yeah. Yeah. But I could do that and just run... How much further would that stick out? I mean, that goes to the edge of the armor. So I could do like a cowling that wraps around. It would obstruct mildly the bridge if I did like a glass look around bridge, right? Because then we are covering up slightly there. But do I want to do it that way? I could. Apparently I was missing plates out of that one. I probably stole them at some point, forgot to put them back. So we're looking at 30,000 integrity. 30,000 integrity per thruster. I wouldn't necessarily need to wrap armor around that. Just have them exposed. It'd be really cool stylistically. And as long as I didn't show my ass to somebody, they wouldn't be that much of a threat. I appreciate that. I always appreciate the likes. All right, let's take a look. See, how goofy does this end up getting if I try to like? That's not terrible. It's not great though either. Ooh, that I like that a little bit better. Run out of suit energy. Because if we're not going to wrap the engines in armor, we need to make it look cool stylistically, and we're already going to have 4 bubbles around the back end that break the existing shape. Theoretically, the heavy armor shrouds will overlap some of that, so it's not that big a deal. Oh yeah, because if I do the shroud thing with the standoffs, it wouldn't even really matter. Okay, so we could do something like that. And then feather that back. Okay, I like that. Do something like that and feather that back in. That's going to be our thruster options. Okay, so where are the thrusters actually going to 6? They need to come back a little bit further from there. So here's our bulkhead. We want to run a tank. Yeah, let's get parts for a conveyor junction. And then up here I had a gap. So we'll still do a gap off the bulkhead wall. So this is the bulkhead wall. We'll do a 1-block spacer gap. We'll put our conveyor junction here. This sticks out. Oh wait, no. Because that... Oh, wait, that sticks out. Hang on, how am I doing this? I don't need the conveyor junction. Yeah. Because that's going to be a tube. So we'll leave this here. We'll put a weld pad here. We'll go grab another hydrogen tank. We will drag it back here. Okay, I'm not locked to it. Good. Alright, this time we're going to grab that spare hydrogen tank that I had over here. I've got so many of these spare tanks. We're going to grab this one. Actually, are any of these pre-filled? That one's not. That one is... Oh, God. There's going to be so much work to extricate that. That one's not. Okay, so maybe... Let's see, that one's... What is that one powered by? Oh, I've got a battery attached to it. I was like, how is that powered? That one's got some... You know what? We'll build connectors, and we'll just siphon things off. I'm not digging out the full ones from inside. That's way more effort than I'm willing to put into this. We'll just go forwards carefully. And then we'll come back here. Rotate around. Come back. Don't hit it too hard. There we go. Go out and back. Cool. We are free now. Allergies. Alright. Bring this back. We'll hook this in. We know around the middle of this tank there's going to be a connector or a conveyor ring. So we can hook the engines into that. Just get the thrusters all lined up, good to go. We're going to go back. Tilt forwards, down. Let's go put our weld plate in place. What direction are we out? Nope. There we go. Okay, so that's done. And then if I do... Oh, but here's the thing. So if I try to put the large thrusters directly... the tank would be exposed, and that's a problem. But I could stand them off by one, and then we're looking at the tank sticks out one block further back. I think I'm going to do a connector back the other direction instead. So we'll grab some parts for that. Because this is semi-structural, I don't think I want to do a pipe. I think I do want to do a junction. Then we could do a reinforced tube instead. Yeah, do it like that. So I could do reinforced tube. No, actually, because this is... Hang on. It'd be a T-tube instead. Because I'm going up for each of these, right? So, do that. Here. Alright, so conveyor junction comes out. You know what, we're going to do this on the other side so I can stare at my little template over there for how things will be oriented and not feel dumb. Let's go with that. Okay, so conveyor junction. And we go T out. And then we go with a curve. Ooh, actually, no, hang on, because there's ports there and there, so I could actually just take this way instead, and then do the T here, and then attach directly. It does rather have that vibe. There, and then this way. Yeah, this is the actual engine, the thruster piece of there. Okay, yeah, I like that. That's how that needs to go. Okay, let's get this welded up before I forget what I'm doing and make it non-functional. It is a good thing that aerodynamics does not matter in space. That is a true statement. This ship, I don't know if it would ever be capable of going planetside. Man, oh god, do I want to work out how much thrust we'd have to keep from slamming face first into a planetary surface? I don't think I do. The shuttle, though, the shuttle that will stick in the hangar bay, that's something we could do that with. But I don't know that this ship can ever go down to Atmo. Especially with a jump drive. Because, like, hang on, where's the front? These jump drives are chunky. Right there. 36 tons on their own. So, yes and no, because like theoretically it would be symmetrical. The issue would be whether it would want to tumble nose down or ass down, right, based on that. But if you came in at a shallow enough angle, it shouldn't theoretically matter. Yeah, it should theoretically matter. It might still, but it shouldn't. I'm out of pieces. No construction components. That's fine. Just gonna grab a whole bunch of them. We'll prep this. We will go drag 2 thrusters back, and we'll throw them down here. And then I can replicate this on the other side. Oh, you know what we didn't do? I didn't include a spot for... I didn't include a spot for where the reactors can be stuffed. Because I don't want them to be in front. And now would be the time to chop off the hydrogen tank and just move it back like 3 blocks. Yeah, let's go ahead and fix that now. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. With anything approaching any sort of realistic physics involved. Yeah. Yeah, that would be another way to handle it too. Pop out here. And I think we're just gonna cut that free. We'll pull forwards about 3 block spaces. And then we'll just weld that back on. So, bulkhead. And then we'll go 1, 2, we got what, 5? So we can do 2, and then this bulkhead. The reactor area will be very small spaced, because it doesn't need a whole lot. It worked. Okay. So, do I have these welded up? I have this welded up. I have that welded up. We have space for reactors now. Do I want to move those now? No, I don't want to move those now. I don't want to move those yet. So, let's go grab some thrusters. We're going to go rip the spares first before I start cutting them off the station. Because I hit the wrong buttons. I almost got that lined up by sheer dumb luck. Alright, are we locked? Kind of? We're locked inside of it. That's fine. That's something I'll have to fix later, otherwise we'll explode. But we'll start with that. Okay. God, we're so off-center with these gyroscopes. It feels bad. I did consider adding the realistic thruster propulsion mod, where it actually applies. So, like, space engineers could do, like, realistic center of thrust. The engine supports it. It's not set that way for gameplay reasons. But it is something that there's a mod out there that makes it so that, like, when you set your thrust, if it's not symmetrical, it will push your ship off vector as a result. Which is hilarious to set up and then manage for, like, mass distributions and stuff like that. And I considered adding it to this run, and I'm like, you know what? It's going to be rough enough doing, like, scrap salvage primarily without adding that as an additional complication. And didn't. Alright, so we're going to disconnect and reconnect back in. Because I do not want to accidentally blow myself up when it merges together and finds my ship inside the thruster cone. That's fine. We can drag that manually. Okay. There's one. Yeah, because we could still. But yeah, because we could still. No, we couldn't. Oh yeah, we could. So we can still do. Let's still do that. To be fair, I didn't know if we'd be able to get up off the planet with anything approaching balanced thrust at all. And it's you can't really script that one. So, like, that's a little bit extra. But then again, at the time when I started this run, we didn't know if there'd be anything in space to salvage. So, like, getting off the planet might have been it. In retrospect, probably would have added it in. I think I'm going to include it on the next playthrough. if I end up playing what I think I'm going to be playing, I might include that in the next one, just for the added challenge and engineering fun involved. All right, there's one. Let's go steal another thruster. Let's go grab this one. Nope. Yeah, we'll grab this one. Oh. Or I could accidentally bounce off another thruster. Let's try that again. Came in a tad high. Let's try it again. Okay, I heard us click. So we should be locked. We are. Let's grind this free. Yeah, that's... I'm really happy that they decided, like, not to go hard Windows only with Space Engineers 2. That was definitely not planned. There'd be an explosion if it was planned. SE2 does run on Linux systems because it's not tied to DirectX. You can do this on Wine, but it's not fun times. I spent entirely too long back in the day fighting with it. And you can get something approaching stable, but it's not very fun in the process. Then again, Space Engineers 2 also has higher baseline, like hardware requirements now, so it doesn't particularly solve that issue, but it does solve the OS log. Because it's not using Windows-only libraries for a bunch of stuff. Not for any intentional reason, that's just how it happened to work out. So, yay from Eric, I guess, on that one. Alright. I like that. That does work. We'll repeat this. We'll repeat this over on this side. Let's grab a bunch of stuff. So we ran junction, reinforced curve, then we had reinforced tube into a T. Right? That looks right. Yeah. How long until I get tired of flying back and forth and just rig up the conveyor system so I can just access pieces from wherever I'm near? That's always the question when it comes to these kind of things. How did I mess that up? Did I not add that to my build planner? I thought I clicked. Did I not? Must not have. I'm shocked that didn't damage me. I was a hair under damage. Ooh, okay. I got that. I'm missing the steel plates for this, of course. Of course I am. Okay. We will go grab 2 more thrusters, get them slapped in, and then at least the back end of the ship is just... Yeah, so, like, that's one of those things where, as far as I'm aware, or at least as much as I figured out, they're not doing anything that relies on specific chipset technology for their minimums. It's just like what their expected performance baseline is. And so unless you get into like some really ridiculous stuff, now maybe once, you know, like water is fully baseline in SE2, when we hit, you know, vertical slice, 3, that might change. But as long as you don't get too complex, it may work, right? Like this is one of those things where there's not really going to be any way to know until... Is that anchoring anything? Yeah, those ions are anchored to that, aren't they? No, it'll work. Okay. This is how close in this got. I actually tilted the Phoenix because originally it was like this close. This is all the gap distance there was between the two ships. Yeah, and I mean that's about all you can do at that point, right? And like as the game develops, like we're still like 2-3 years out. That's my realistic estimate, like 2027, I would assume. It's one of those things where that might change. Or, you know, cards may have dropped in price enough that it doesn't really matter at that point. Or the world has exploded, and so it doesn't matter. You know, like, you just never know. We're going to put a temporary block here just to be on the safe side. That's connected to the side of that thruster back. If I cut this free, is it going to clang out and blow up things? And I feel like it is, so I need to cut one of these off anyway. I'm not happy about that. You know... Alright. Yeah, no, it absolutely pushed that some. Okay. Can I lift this out by hand without making a giant mess in the process? Kind of. Alright, there's that. Let's just merge block these back. Drifted too far. The first time I brought back... Oh, there's some damage. The first time I brought back the Phoenix after I had set this stuff up and locked it into place was honestly terrifying because I had no easy way to visibly see that gap. And I'm serious. It was like less than the width of... It was less than half the width of a space engineer gap when it locked in place, and I was certain I was going to blow up something by accident. And I'm still highly amused that nothing blew up. That's free. Let's just weld plate this. That's going to be less of a hassle with the battery. Okay, that way. I do hope they actually include a gravity gun into, so that we have like grabby hands here as a baseline thing, and they don't just leave it as an idea sitting on, you know, the idea board somewhere. They've already mocked up models for it. I just think it'd be really neat to have that kind of functionality baseline. we're going to grab a couple armor blocks and a couple more weld pads. And let's go drag this over. It's up here. So let's see, we'll go this way, and then I'm back. I overshot that. There we go. Got it that time. Flip forwards. Drop it down. A little bit too tilted. One of these days, I'll actually bother to set up my joystick, and too hard. And then I can just actually fly this in a way that makes sense, rather than whatever buttons my fingers think should be hit, rather than my head thinks. See, we're not embedded inside the block, so that shouldn't be an issue. We're gonna tilt. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's the, I want to say, I think it's a battered. No. What is that? Damaged? It's not. Maybe it is rusty. I didn't think it was rusty. But maybe it is. Do I have... I don't have a paint gun on me. Nope, it is indeed rusted. Not heavy rust. Because I think it has to be. Yeah. Actually, let's go back to this and lock that in. Actually, it should be battered. There we go. We just have one more to go grab. And then at least the shaping on the back end will be finished. See, is Gamer the one where people had their bodies controlled by people who bought them to serve as real-life avatars for their, like, Fortnite-esque survival game, and it was mostly criminals, but not entirely criminals? Okay. There were a couple different movies with similar premises that came out around the same time, and I couldn't remember if that was the one. Don't remind anybody who runs my government that movie exists, because they're going to try and make it happen. Alright, where's the next thruster I'm stealing? I think I have to start pulling from the station now. Yeah, because we had 7 large thrusters total. So it's time to start ripping them off the station. Yeah, that's, well, kind of. Like, I won't argue it's at least as bad. But the implementation, the implementation is definitely different. Alright, this, I forgot to reconvert this. Let's throw a control panel on this so I can destation this block. Yeah, that's accurate. So we're gonna slam this down. How do I need to reorient this? Let's see if I do this, and then... Nope. Don't smash up the palmetto bug. It's a tad touchy. This has got plate armor over a giant hydrogen tank. See if we can get this rotated around. If I pre-align it, it makes it easier. I suppose I should be happy that it even lets me manipulate this as it is by hand. So if we come back, and then if I line up this way, and then spin, try spinning, that's a good trick. For what it's worth, I didn't know there was a show either. So, let's do this. Okay. Let's see. How do I want to come back and then move up? Slowly roasting this thruster. Actually, that got lined up pretty close. Alright. Take any damage? No, we didn't. Sweet. Okay, so we got the thrusters. Let's recolor it. We got the thrusters. So we've got our big go to hell thrust, which goes behind us. And then we'll just hide small thrusters just off the center line for the other directions. So we can pipe those and make it nice and easy. It kind of does. I mean, we're not quite to that size scale yet. I think we're larger than a firefly, though, aren't we? 82 meter length. Oh yeah, I think we definitely are. Let's see. 3. Drifting. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 16, 17, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 35, 41. Yeah, we're a little bit longer than a Firefly class. Which is wild when you think about that, right? Like, we're less than 10 meters longer than a Firefly class. It looks so big. Yeah. Granted, a Firefly class transport would be thicker and whiter. So it kind of all works out in the end. Alright, I'm liking this. I am liking this. Oh man, I need to figure out if I want the guns to sit on the armor shields or if I want them to peek out from between them. that might change how I pipe this up. I think for simplicity's sake, I'm going to stick them on the shields. Jane would say both. Alright, so as far as that goes, so let's go ahead and move these doors while we're here. Since I've got the scrapping ship, let's just go ahead and take these down. Let's drop below. And we'll just grind back up in. Okay, so I want this to come out to here. So let's maybe get steel plates. So if these get pushed back out to here, and then these get pushed back out to here. What's in the build planner? So build planner, let's go ahead and wipe the build planner. I will just click these again. I get the feeling I'm going to end up taking one of those grinders off and replacing it with a welder just so I can do both operations from the same ship at the same time. I feel it coming. Keeper to feed. Then just have to repeat this on the other side. Okay, so there's that. How do I want to run this? I think I need to go ahead and do the heavy armor now, just so I don't forget. I think that's how this is going to work. Large grid heavy armor takes so much componentry. No, I added these. Both in build planner now. Geographic isolation. Alright, so there's that. We'll just do a quick bridge out. I can get rid of... That's the wrong thing. I can get rid of this. There we go. No, actually, we're going to do this a little bit different. We're just going to lay this down here to frame it, and then not worry about it. Because at least then I don't forget to do that in a shell the same way. That's connected, so now I can grind this free. There we go. Don't get the red saying, hey, you're going to break your grid apart. I guess technically the floor of the hangar should also be heavy armor at that point, simply so that it doesn't accidentally burn through when I do something dumb with the thruster. Yeah, that works. And then that just bubbles in. I'm going to change the corner blocks. Let's see. Let's go ahead and throw down the rest of the heavy blocks. So I've actually got them on my hotbar. We're not going to put the transition pieces because I'm going to consider that a sign that I have thoroughly screwed something up if I have to actually use those. We want to blend down to the 45s. How do I want to do it? Like this? Yeah, like that. Why is the same? These all have the same color and texture. Keen. Keen, why? Why, Keen? The edges don't even line up. Killing me. Alright, so from that we can go back to regular light armor. See, where's this coming across at? This comes across... How do I need to shape this? Where's the transition run? That's right. Suit energy low. I was just inside the palmetto. Okay. Alright, so if I do this, then I can go back to this block. Wow, that was a lot easier to blend in than I thought it was going to be. Now the question becomes, do I want to bubble out the front a little bit? Because if I do, then using this block has just completely and totally screwed that up. Because there's no good, like, 5-sided transition piece otherwise. So I guess that kind of locks me in place here, which I'm not against. But it does work that way. Okay, so that you know, we'll just call that good enough. we're going to replace this with some pipes. Do I want to do... Oh, I guess I kind of need to. Yeah, I do need to. So let's dump all this stuff. We'll grab a whole bunch of conveyor pipe pieces. And then that's going to go up like that. Yeah. $3,700 integrity. So we've got half again the integrity of an armor block. So that's good. Do that. Let's see. We shouldn't break anything if I grind all this free. Yeah. I'll just go like this. We'll leave the opening sideways, just so I'm not having to deal with it later. Get rid of this. It's going to come back to here. So I don't need to worry about air tightness. Look, man, I hate having to fly back everywhere. I can't help it. Alright, so that links there, and then we're conveyored back from this point. I need to set up the conveyoring for this. And then I need to figure out how I'm going to link the conveyoring into the nose. Do I want to have a conveyor on the front or not? I feel like the answer to that should be yes. Crap. You know, I haven't died from it yet. Haven't died from running out of power yet. I came real close, though. I came real close. I was down to 13% life before I got back to somewhere that had power. That's the closest I've got. Exactly. Exactly. It's like, I don't want to... And then you're like, oh, I got to go back for parts. And then you realize the nearest connector is like half a mile away, and you're like, he's been building. Let's go refill my standby oxygen bottle after we refill the suit and get my health back. Why do I have multiple drills? What dumb thing was I doing? I must have picked one up from... Oh, I probably picked it up when I was cutting pieces apart. That would make more sense. That would make sense. Alright, so anyway, what I was going to do before I started taking damage, we have these airlock connectors. One of which is this large airlock connector. Which is ridiculous, but also amazing. And I kind of want to use it now. Because it's huge. But also, you can conveyor it. I remember it's functionally a one-lane road with a dirt path with a rock face and a sheer... Yeah. There's a lot of those through, like, mining country in the Appalachians. Especially on the west side, like over on the Kentucky side. You can get some goofy shit there, too. Yeah, like, look how perfect that would be. It's 10.5 tons. It's 46,000 HP. like it. I haven't used the big one yet. And now I want to. Alright. How big is this? How massive is this grid right now? We're looking at 329,000 kilos. I think the Palmetto can haul that. We're going to do a test of this before I completely screw up and make a mess of things. Alright, so we're going to lock. If I unlock this, what happens if I try to back up? Do we pull back smoothly? Oh, it handles like a champ. Of course it does. Okay, so we're just going to pull back. I have fewer backwards thrusters than I do forwards thrusters, because of course I do. So it never did fix that design flaw. Okay, so we're going to cut off these 3 blocks. What do I need for this gigantic thing here? So we're going to go... Ooh, do I could center it, or... Let's see, where are the ports for this? So it does have... You know what? Let's try testing this does work first as a connector. Man, I'll be honest. Hauling logs on roads like that would terrify the ever-loving hell out of me, man. Like, I don't like driving like non-CDL requiring moving trucks, right? Like on roads like that, because then again, I suppose you have less traffic from other people on those roads, don't you? Do I center it? Or do I off-center it so that the floor is the same as everything else? I think I off-center it, which means these need to be conveyored. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, so we do 3 tubes out. There should be a bulkhead here, a 4th tube, and then that, right? Yeah, okay. I think that's right. So many metal grids. Are we drifting sideways? No. Not meaningfully, at least. Alright, so there's this. And this thing is airtight. this should be conveyed. Yes. Okay. So it is conveyed. Now the question is, if we drag this back into the station, we have 0 gyro authority. At least we have thruster authority. Can I lock this to a regular connector? Let's see, then we side shuffle without hitting the rest of the wreckage we're salvaging. Bad times. Alright, I gotta figure out how to stop this thing from spinning now. We just don't have... I'm gonna have to grab this with the Phoenix. God, that feels bad. Alright, hang on, let's... Do we have any gyro authority at all? A little bit. Okay. The connector strength grabbed just enough it slung us. I hate that I hadn't considered that in advance. Oops. Okay, let's... We're just gonna leave that spinning. We're just gonna grab the Phoenix. We're not gonna sit here and fight that for 20 minutes and then get frustrated and fail anyway. We're just gonna grab the ship that's sized appropriately to handle 360 tons of spinning mass. Everything is powered. Thrusters on. Unlock. Okay, and let's just pull forwards, and then I'll spin back around. Yeah, not a problem. Alright, so we have that on the front still. Okay, so I can just come over here. I need to back up a little bit and then drop down on it. Yep, too far. You know what? That's going to be close enough. Okay, we're locked there. I know for a fact we've got the gyro authority on this thing to handle that. So we'll take the palmetto off, so we're not thrashing it. And we'll just park it up out of the way here. You know what? Actually, we're gonna actually park it and let it get its tanks refilled. Let's see, I want to spin this way. And then there-ish. Nose down. Lock in. Put ourselves on fill and recharge. And then we'll just wrestle this thing back into place. Shouldn't be a concern for the Phoenix. It's got, I want to say 8 gyros, and they're large grid gyros versus 3 small grids. A matter of making sure I don't hit things I shouldn't. Because everything got twisted out of alignment. Alright. So we're mostly set there. We need to rotate this way. Right? Almost. Then we go up, and we go left. There we go. And then we'll do this, and we'll tilt down. Right. Yeah, there we go. That's so tight. That's moderately upsetting. Alright, so if I come up here... where do I have to be to lock this thing? Like, is that enough to lock? I can't quite tell. So we're just gonna go check it. Not connected. Not able to lock yet. I think it's just a matter of being misaligned. I don't think it has to be aligned with this. Maybe I'm wrong and it does. Maybe that's what twisted us in the first place. That might be what it was. I've never used the big one before, so I'm not 100%. Oh, yep, we just went red. I think it's because I just smashed it in and blew it up. Let's go take a look. No, so we just showed red, maybe. Hang on, do I have a remote on this? I do not. Can I make remotes? I can. I should consider putting one on. It'll make this a lot easier. Alright, so there's this. And if we go up a little bit, no, I think we just drifted too far. Oh yeah, because we were like right there, yellow for a second. Is it the angle again? Can't tell. Okay, so we're going to throw a temporary remote onto the front of the Phoenix. I'm going to go stand here where I can more easily see what's going on. Because that's the smart way to do this. Alright, grab the Phoenix, grab the remote control. Control. So if I... I know it's not main cockpit, but that shouldn't matter because it's the remote. Why? Oh, son of a bitch. What do I have that's broken? Okay, so it's back to what it was. There we go. It's pulling a little bit. Maybe I can get it to sync up on its own. No, it's gotta be because the angle's wrong. It's gotta be because the angle's wrong. And I don't know why the remote control's not working. It wants to come into lock. Let's see, let's keep spinning until we're more or less where we need to be. Maybe I'm too far in. Okay, it wanted to. Come on. Alright, let's drop this. Oh, that didn't work. It's because I held the wrong hotbar. Okay. Alright, what is going to be the easiest way to manipulate this is going to be to put... Where am I? Here we go. Just gonna put some extra blocks down. And that way I shouldn't roast it with the thruster. We'll try this again. Because I want to lock this. Let's see. I don't have a camera there. So we're just kind of doing this as it goes. That's kind of in place. Am I going to set anything on fire? We're going to turn off the hydrogen thruster because it might set things on fire. We are locked. Okay. So that should make this a lot easier now because the movements of my ship will match the movements of this other ship now. Sometimes... Oh, we almost had it. Ah, crap. Sometimes you just have to do everything you can to foolproof it for your own controls. And we're going to go turn off that. God, that's so strong. We're going to turn back off this. Oh, wait, hang on. Show airlock alignment angle. What does that do? Let's look at the controls. Okay, so show on HUD. Use for parking. Yeah, show airlock alignment data on screen. How does that work? That probably isn't going to help here. Maybe it's useful for when you're piloting. Whatever, that's still going to be better because now it's not going to rip itself around everywhere. Oh, come on. We had the yellow lock. Like, for moments, and then it says no. So maybe it is a size thing. Let's pull back a minute. Maybe it wants to sync up and it can't because it's technically not the right size. At which point, I should just be able to come in here and go... let's see, spin it this way. Yeah, that should work. How do these work? So now I can very easily line this up. So if it flashes yellow and back to red, we know there's something else going on. This is something I should have done before, but you know, stubbornness. Okay, so it held the yellow. Okay. So I wonder if it's because it goes, hey, you're in connector range, and then it realizes the connector is not technically aligned, and it flashes back red. Alright, so that's locked. I mean, we're technically not joined to anything, but it is locked now. Yep. So that does work. Then the question becomes... and that's going to break that if I do that, though. Because there's no mounting. It's just that. Oh, wait, no, hang on. Yeah. That doesn't have a red box. If it doesn't have a red box around it, it means it won't split the grid. That's all I needed. Okay. We'll do this. Reinforced conveyor tube. Throw this here. I will grab pieces. Finish that. Now we're actually... that's not right. We're actually linked together. Oh, that's... what the hell? Oh, that's wild. So this is still the center point, but it's actually... oh, how are these blocks defined? Because it connects, but then it connects back across and then goes back through. So, like, is it double looping? Is it because there's technically two different... there's a connector and then a conveyor port? I need to look... I need to go look at the... I need to look at the block definitions to see how that's made, because that's wild. I've never seen that before. is this block based on? Got a single conveyor port. It has a connector attached to it. What is this? This is wild. I gotta go look this up after stream, because now I'm genuinely curious how that was defined out. All right, let's get this stuff welded. But it does mean we can definitely use this method. And I'm excited about that. Okay, so let's turn this back on. Where are we not connected still? So these need to be welded up. And then we don't have anything put in place back here yet because I just haven't done it. Let's see, so... let's finish framing in the conveyors before I forget. Okay. So, this is going to be a pipe. Right? Or do I... actually, do I just want to run a spinal... like an entire spinal passage line back? Maybe that's what I do instead. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think we just run spine all the way back. We need to do something different here, though. Because this becomes tied into the power. This is a conveyor junction. No, I need parts. It's a conveyor junction there. And then we do that, and then I have another tube that goes there. Then we have one that does that here. Because then this becomes... does that need to become a conveyor junction? I feel like the answer is yes, but also maybe no. Yes. I don't know what I'm going to attach to the other side yet, but we're going to start with that. And then this becomes... so that's conveyor junction. These are conjunct... Do I want to do conveyor junctions here? So I need to have... yeah. Yeah, both those need to be conveyors. And actually, that does as well. It's all conveyors all the way down. We don't need this, or this, or this anymore, or that, or that. So now we got our markers back for that. Let's see, if I cut this, I think we do a 4-way here, or a 6-way for the junction. Yeah. We can do, get rid of that, get rid of this, and that, this. We'll put some temporary blocks there just to serve as a secondary connector piece, because this is no longer needed. Alright, making progress. That's what we need. So, let us go to here. We'll just start going back. And then this should be plumbed now, right? Yes. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So much faster and better. Granted, with an elite welder, that means I'm just going to run out of power so much faster, but you know, gotta make sacrifices. Gotta make sacrifices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll just weld this back. Oh, that's nice. Not having to run everywhere to get parts. Not having to fly forever. Can be more shocked when I run out of power and start dying, gasping for breath. That into that. Okay, we are plumbed. So we've got one primary spinal conveyor network. And I need to jump into something here and recharge. We've got one primary conveyor spinal network. And that's going to be the main conveyor network for this ship. Oh, crap. Just realized left out space for an incredibly important part of this. The most important part of the ship. The jump drive. So what am I cutting apart to fit this? I think the answer is we cut off the back end again and just drag it out. I think that's the answer, because I don't want to put it in the front. Question is, do I put it ahead of the reactors or behind the reactors? I think I put it ahead of the reactors. So we actually need to cut here and add. See, I think we'll do a 5-block gap. Oh no, because I could turn it upright, do 4. It'd still be centered then. Hang on, what if I put it here and then just cluster the reactors around this rear tank for maximum explosion? I like that. Let's do that. That does mean going to cut this free. We're going to grab the palmetto. Bop, 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 bop. Of course it did. That's fine. It'll just turn dampeners off and lock, and now we'll turn them back on. And hopefully not fry the shit out of that thing. Okay. Okay, you know what, we're fine. We're fine. We'll just spin this back forwards, and we'll go up, and we'll go back, and we'll go up. And if I can get it to stop wobbling, I should probably add some more gyros to this thing at some point. Cool. And then let's go grab this, because that's going to change how that is piped. And then I need to grab this. How is this? Which way is up? Should be this way is upright. So I need to come over here and grab it here. Yeah. Nope, I am good, HUD. Thank you. Alright, we're locked. Am I going to roast this most precious of cargoes? No. We grind this free. Attached. Detached. Left. Nope, I need to destation this block first. Alright, so now that that's done, we fly this back over here. I need to rotate left so that we're facing the right direction up for the keypad. And then we spin this way, and I just stuff this here in the back. Come back. Oh man, I'm so glad I had the realization that I forgot a space to put this block before I fully skinned the whole thing, because that would have been so upsetting. What's the primary reason for making this ship, Goose? Well, it's to be a dummy, obviously. So there's that. We back up a little bit. That's mostly centered. We use our wonderful connections here. Oh, so nice. We do that. We do that. We weld these pads. We take a save just in case something randomly decides it wants to explode. Nothing exploded. Sweet. And then I'm back here. Yeah. This way. Twist. Come down. Back up. Try and move this into place, and I realize I've grabbed it from a terrible spot. Rotate. Rotate. Rotate a little bit. tiny bit? Please. Pretty please? There we go. Stop spinning. Stop. Please. Pretty please. No? Okay. Let's... Still twisting because of phantom forces. That's fine. Stop it. Stop. Alright, let's hop out. Let's try and get these weld pads in here now. While we still can. Alright. There's that. We go there. Put that there. That there. Try it again. With the actual parts in hand this time. There we go. And then we weld this into place. So I need to tilt down, slide left, twist left. There we go. Whew. Okay. So that's all locked. That's all done. I need to cut this off because this needs to become a T instead. Go back to forced and then become down here. Yeah, we have to come down there because if I want to put the reactors there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, and we are now reconveyored again. Yes. We don't have the redundant pathing yet, but we don't need it yet. But we are conveyored front to back. We have the jump drive. We have big thrusters. We could set these hydrogen tanks to stockpile, and they will start filling up. It's 30 million liters of liquid hydrogen. It will run us a good long while. I still want to fit ions in here. Which means we need to find a spot to put batteries because reactors alone aren't going to produce enough of that one. We don't have enough ice. Ooh, look at that. To fully fill that. We're just shy of 25 out of 30 million liters. That's fine. We can go back down and get some ice from the mining rig down there on the surface, but not right now. Actually, how much ice is down there? Just shy of 400k, so not enough, but we'll be getting there. And then the bridge will be up here. Control seat. Control seat, not cockpit. Control seat. There you go. We're just gonna grab some parts, throw the temporary one back up on there so I don't forget, because I will forget. Put the rest of the parts away because they're not needed. I don't think we need the Phoenix for anything else heavy lifting, so I can put that away. You know, this is actually, we got a lot done. Like, this is not terrible. I need to go through and cut this thing apart, but the fact that all the pieces are right here is going to make it nice and easy to carry them across. We have room to... I could run a line of batteries here and just walk down the side halls. I could put batteries... I could take the walking passage, and instead of it being here, just come back, and then when I pass here, bring it back under, and then just line this side on left and right with batteries, because I don't need to actually get back into any of this. Yeah. Yeah. And then I could put gyros on the other side of the batteries even. That would be an option. Oh, that'd be glorious. Yeah, I like that. All right. I'm liking this. You got a lot done. And this is the total length of the front of the ship, because I'm not going back and changing this now. But the nice thing is it allows us to walk through. I'm going to put a heavy armor bulkhead here. I don't think you can shoot through this, but just in case you can, I'm going to put a heavy armor bulkhead, like a double thick layer, and then you'll just turn and walk down a side passage to get back to the stuff internal. I do need to figure out where I want to do the stairs to get up to the bridge. I got to figure that out still. But that's where we're going to leave things for... Okay, it's moving away. I was concerned. It was moving towards us. But that's where we're going to leave things for tonight. Let's go take a look and update our to-do lists. So, you know, we're not going to even put salvage on there. Finish the new ship. Eventually, I don't know. And then in between, think. We're going to think. We're going to think. We're going to consider. I'm going to go back over here to my thoughts, and I'm going to walk from over there to over here and stare out at this thing. I'm going to walk back over here and have some more thoughts and stare back over here at this thing. And we'll see. God, this looks so cool. I really like these bay windows. Like, I think these are my favorite windows Keen has ever done, because they work. Like, if this bar was like 3 centimeters higher up, I'd be happier about it. But honestly, they work. If you squat down, it works fine. It's like you're sitting there putting your arms up on the rail to squat down. But I'm going to sit here and think and go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and have some thoughts and clean up things. So, back again next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Hope to see you back. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this after the fact, definitely appreciate that. If you thought it was trash, you know, thumbs down. Still engagement. Lets me know stuff is whatever. It'd be nice if you left some comments about it, though. But, you know, is what it is. Y'all have a wonderful time. As always, stay safe. Stay goose. Maybe. And everything worked great, and then you get to the end and none of my stuff works. Y'all have a good one.